Hello, welcome to Broadway's Calling, where we get closer to your favorite Broadway stars and where they share the moment when they got the call to be on Broadway for the very first time. It only happens once, but we are going to get that story. Well, as this is a live show, we don't know what our guests are going to say. So that's why you want to stick around and listen to every single word. And we don't even know if the Wi-Fi signals are going to be strong. But if anything goes awry, our tech producer, Julie Garnier, will jump in and save the day.
Go Team Eric!
That's right. Well, today's guest is the Emmy Award-winning star of Will and Grace and two of Broadway's classic revivals, Mr. Eric McCormack. Eric is going to stop by and he's going to tell us about when he got the call to be on Broadway. But more importantly, he's going to tell us all about the challenge that he is having with Tony winner Jason Alexander, who won the Tony for Jerome Robbins' Broadway. Also, Dear Evan Hansen's Jordan Fisher. Put 'em up. Jagged Little Pills, Kathryn Gallagher. That's her in the center. Moulin Rouge's Aaron Tveit. And from Waitress, Jenna Ushkowitz. Well, they're all going to be in this challenge, and I'll tell you all about that later, but that's what, and also Eric will tell you. But now, if you're new to Broadway's Calling, be sure to subscribe, and please click that bell, because the more subscribers and the more clicks, the more stars that you can see every Sunday at 6, right here on the YouTube and the Facebook Live. And speaking of stars, I am over the moon, y'all. I really am very, very excited to have Eric on here because he is part of television history. He's part of Broadway history, and he's one of our biggest and brightest and stars. In fact, he has not only one star on the Walk of Fame, but two, because he is on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but also Canada's Walk of Fame. So that's very, very exciting. And you know him because he's been on our screens for like the last 25 years. I mean, he's been on so many shows like Lonesome Dove, if you remember him as the evil cowboy, and The Travelers, and a show that I think Eric produced, and hopefully he can clarify that when he gets here, Perception, which I know is Julie Garnier's one of her favorite shows. And of course, the television classic, Will and Grace. There they are. But I got to know him when we worked on The Music Man at the Hollywood Bowl back, it was almost 20 years ago. Well, he was no stranger to Harold Hill because Eric soared opposite our leading lady, Marion the Librarian, played by the delicious Miss Kathryn Chenoweth. There she is. And an 8-year-old Benn Platt as Winthrop. And now he's a Tony-winning star of Dear Evan Hansen and The Politician and Pitch Perfect. I mean, so many things, and the movie of Dear Evan Hansen. So that's going to be very, very exciting. But right now, I got to tell you, you want to see a little of The Music Man with Eric.
Attention, please. Attention, please. I can deal with this fellow friend with a wave of my hand, this very hand. Please observe me, if you will. I'm Professor Harold Hill, and I'm here to organize the River City Boys Band. Oh, think, my friends, I'm at any pool table ever hoped to compete with the gold trombone. Remember, my friends, when a handful of trumpet players did the famous Table Walls of Jericho. Oh, billiard parlor walls come tumbling down. Well, the band was good, my friends. So yes, I get a boys band here. I said, River City gotta have a boys band, and I think she needs it today. Well, Professor Harold Hill's on hand. River City gonna have a boys band. Sure, the Lord made the three apples, and the band's gonna be in Jerusalem. Jump, Willie, take it, Fred. Listen to the glitter of the crashing swings. Hear the thunder of rolling drums, the shimmer of trumpets. Thunder! And you'll feel something akin to the electric thrill that I once enjoyed when Gilmore, Liberati, Pat Conway, the great Creator, W.C. Handy, and John Philip Sousa all came to town on the very same historic day. masquerade with 110 cornets close at hand. They were followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. 76 strong hosts, coupled in sun, with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. They were horns of every shape and kind. They were copper bottom Tiffany in horse platoon, thundering all of the hay. Double bell euphonium and big bassoon, having a big fat say, 16,000 cannon in the battery. Thundering, louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpets, improvise a full bucket higher than the sky.
Oh, we've got Eric right here on Broadway's Calling with a capital B that rhymes with C that stands for cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Broadway's Calling, Eric McCormack.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
How
Len.
are you?
Wow, that was some clip. God damn, it's been a long time.
It's been only a couple of decades.
Jesus.
I mean, isn't that crazy?
I was so much younger then.
But you can still do it. Come on, you can still do it.
I wonder, you know what would be terrible? I could probably still bounce around, but the breath control, I was just going, and of course that role
Yeah.
lightens up in the second act, but that first act is bananas. It's numbers. I remember by the time I got to Marion the Librarian, it was just like holding that, and it was like just,
Brian.
God.
Da. Well, you were fantastic in that part. I mean, I was so happy to find that. I mean, it is a bootleg, but you know, for educational purposes, we have to show the history of Broadway. You know, and
whoever took that bootleg, because you know, I didn't start the role. I took it over from Craig Bierko, so there wasn't any reason to have footage of me, no news or anything else. So whoever shot that one 20 years ago, love you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So what have you been doing during the pandemic?
You're going to say, well, so what have you been doing since then?
Just a few TV shows, right?
The pandemic has been relatively quiet. We live between Los Angeles and Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
So we would normally go to Vancouver for the summer and for sort of May, June, July, August, but we we couldn't get away. We couldn't get my mother-in-law out of. We couldn't go into Canada, even though we were citizens.
Right.
The travel was so dangerous. So we ended up in Los Angeles for most of last year, and then we went to Canada about November 2nd, like the day before the election. I'm like, let's get out of here just in case.
Get out of here.
Luckily, it all worked out. But and we spent 5 months up there. We just got back down here. So
and now did you homeschool your son, or how did that work out?
It was all Zoom, but it was
okay.
So it was at home, but no, thank God. Have to. He was was finishing 11th grade, and then he's doing his entire 12th grade on Zoom. It's sad, but it is what it is, and I'm glad that they weren't forced to go back and just
right. Absolutely. I cannot believe how long it is since we've even seen each other. I mean, time just like zooms by. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure it out, and I think it was like when you were doing Best Man.
That's probably when I saw you. That's right. And that was 2012.
Wow. Almost a decade. That is crazy. And I mean, I don't know if anyone remembers that, but first of all, it's a phenomenal play by Gore Vidal, but you were in it. It's like all of these iconic actors. You got Eric McCormack, John Larroquette, Jefferson Mays, Carrie Butler, and then
it was James Earl Jones,
right?
And Lansbury,
and Candice Bergen,
Michael McKean. It was an incredible cast.
It was incredible. It's one of those plays that if it's not playing somewhere, people ought to just try and read it, because it reads like it was written like today. Here's a little of it, and you'll see Eric and the other icons in The Best Man. Wow.
That was awesome.
Wow. Was so good. I do have a hello from Elena Bennett. She was your door person over at your theater when you were doing The Best Man. She sends her regard. She was like, "Oh, I love Eric." But
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
You're in a show with James Earl Jones, Darth Vader, Angela Lansbury, you know, Jessica Fletcher. Like, do you just go up to them and say, "Hey Jimmy, hey Ange"? I mean, how do you address them, or do you use their royal titles?
I don't think there was ever a Jimmy or an Ange. But, I don't remember that. But they are such people of the theater. There's nothing. They want to be as much a part of the cast. A special treatment. Of course, they have their dressing rooms are a little closer to the stage,
right? Yeah,
because they're in their 80s. But
right.
Other than that, they are such team players. And so willing, I think I waited a full 8 seconds before I started asking Angela Sweeney Todd questions.
Yeah, I know.
I had to know.
Yeah.
And sometimes just before we go on in this one scene where we're both backstage, I'd start singing something from that show just to make it up. But she's, they're game for that. Just the number of people that would come backstage and meet James and want to talk about Darth Vader. He's wonderful and cool about it.
I would want to talk. He came to see a show I was in, and all I wanted to talk about was The Great White Hope.
Well, sure.
Because I saw that movie when I was a kid, and I could not believe, he exploded on the screen. He also did the play, but I didn't see that, but he exploded on the screen. And so that's all I wanted to know about. I'm like, tell me about it.
First time I went to New York, I was 18. I was with my theater class from high school. First thing we saw on the Saturday we arrived was Evita.
Wow.
And the next day, my second play, a little hungover, I do believe, was Othello with James Earl and Christopher Plummer.
At the Winter Garden.
Yes. Incredible. So
yeah,
it was nice to be able to bring that up with them. And
you have that's like your background, isn't it? Like you trained early on. Was it the Shakespeare Festival in Stratford? Where you were?
Ontario, just a little northwest of where's from New York. It's that way, but
it's up and to the left.
It's up and to the left. It's very close, and it's incredible. Yeah, I graduated. Oh my god!
Yeah, we have to find the original headshots for people.
Yeah, apparently, according to my hair, I was on WKRP in Cincinnati. But, that's just embarrassing. But I think that was my first headshot, and so that would have been. I graduated theater school in Toronto in '85 and went right to Stratford for 5 years. So it was all Shakespeare. Even in the winters when the company we were down, I would go to Winnipeg or New Brunswick. My 20s were exclusively theater in Canada.
Oh man, there's some great pictures. There was a picture of you in Measure for Measure, but I wasn't able to, and people will have to look it up themselves and see what I'm talking about. It would not download, but what we did get was I got a picture of you in Murder at the Cathedral and in Henry V. And just young Eric McCormack, doing the classics, which it's so I love that. I mean, a lot of people, just assume that people just pop up on television. They don't realize that there's a lot of training that goes in. And I mean, you can almost see that in the work that you do, the comic work and the dramatic work. There's like training there. And
and I always assumed that was everybody. And you get into television and you start to realize that it's not. Certainly, all four of us on Will and Grace were very trained university theater course, but a lot of people have never been on a stage in their life, and they've been starring in movies and television for years. So that floored me because in my mind, I always thought of theater as the thing they couldn't take away from me. I could show up in LA and never get a job, but you can't deny that my resume had 10 years of hard work.
Yeah. And I mean, it shows in the work, and it's like, and as an actor, I mean, I can attest, you're one of the most generous performers on stage. I mean, you will be getting your laughs, but you'll help another brother get theirs too. And I love that. I love that. Speaking of love and generosity, Andrea Boyer, who does our segment Broadway Bites, she wanted to do a very, very special thing to sort of celebrate the love and the generosity that you're sharing, because you are really here to help Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS with their Red Bucket matchup against the other Broadway stars. So I wanted to bring on Andrea, and she'll tell you the special treat that she made in honor of you today.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Andrea.
How you guys doing?
Meet Eric.
I remember you from backstage.
Wait, don't be telling all the stories, Eric. I mean,
I just went a few minutes ago. Wait, that came out.
Yeah, so Lance, I did. I had to make something with red in it. So obviously for the Red Bucket matchup, and I hope you enjoy it. It's really fun making it.
Let's see. That's awesome.
Yay, thank you.
Sweet. Thank you, Andrea. That's
welcome.
great.
But, you know, I'm really excited to hear more about the challenge, Eric, that you're a part of with the 5 other theater stars. And how did it all come about?
Well, I had done, there was a thing that was a few weeks ago. I had a very tiny piece of it that I recorded in Vancouver called Broadway Backwards that raised a lot of money for Broadway Cares. And then they came to me and said, if you consider being part of this too. I said, of course. So I'm not a competitive person. Like, I don't love the kind of reality show one-upmanship that is kind of inferred in this. So I think I've been a little quiet on that. But Jason Alexander, he loves that. One is just like, I'm trouncing McCormack in this. Meanwhile, as I was saying, I think as of yesterday, it's Aaron Tveit that is way ahead of us by, like, I don't know, 10 grand or something.
Wow.
That's well, we're gonna try and do something on this show and get people to join. They're calling it hashtag Team Eric.
Yes.
But the good thing about this, I call it a good-natured competition, is that ultimately, all of you stars, all of the money is going to go to one place. So, I mean, it's like, it's fun to say, you know, which star, you know, raised the most money, but ultimately it's all going to go to the same place. And so far, haven't you guys like raised like 100 grand already?
I think it's something like that. And Gideon Sciences is going to match it and double it. So we will end up raising twice as much as we do on our own, which is incredible. And this is a real effort on the part of Broadway Cares to reach further than just the community. This is a very much COVID-19 related, and it is the whole country. And there's so many people, not just in the theater, that are suffering financially. And so the more we raise, the more we can help certain initiatives in certain cities and towns. It'll be bigger than the usual reach, and that's exciting.
And I don't know if people know this, but Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, they have already sent grants and money to all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. So that's what Eric was talking about. It's like a reach. They're taking care of everyone, and it's really fantastic. You can apply for a grant, especially if you're an arts organization, and then they also help people with HIV and AIDS, and the Phyllis Newman Health. I always forget the whole title. The Phyllis Newman women's center, but I know that they help them as well. Also, what I wanted to do, Eric, for you to help Team Eric was that we were gifted with some more playbill binders, and we got some, and then we were able to give some away for charity before. And there they are. There's the playbill binders. They come in black, and you can take all of your playbills and like stick them in one place, and it could be neat. But here I have them already boxed up, ready to go to send to anyone who donates to Team Eric. Anything over $50, and I will mail these out. Now, just to make sure, now we can know that if you send the money or not, we'll have you send it to our Venmo or our PayPal, so that I can like talk to you, get your address, and also you can send the address to us privately at info@Broadway'sCallingTV.com. That's if you would like one of these binders, and I'll send you. I have 20 of them. I can send you all 20 if you send $1,000. We'll just keep sending them, and we'll keep making the money. And just remember, like what Eric said was, Gilead Sciences is matching every dollar up to $1 million. So if you send in $50, it's really worth $100. So we're just like keep it coming. Now, I just also want to make sure that you understand that you only have to send it to our Venmo or our PayPal if you want one of the playbill binders. If you're just sending in cash, and we'll take like $1, $5, you can send that directly to BroadwayCares.org/Eric. BroadwayCares.org/Eric. And the reason why we want to send that directly there is because this challenge only lasts until Friday, guys. So these stars are only, so we want to get that in because we want to get the money match. That's what's most important. So whip out your credit cards, because I know everybody, if you watched one episode of Will and Grace, send us $1. If you watch 5 episodes, $5. If you watch all of the seasons and the reboot, come on, send us $100. You see?
Great. Yeah. So what was that deadline again, Lance? What was that?
Friday. They have to get all the money by Friday because we want to get the matching grant. So you want to send your cash money directly to BroadwayCares.org/Eric. I mean, I'm getting warm. I'm getting excited, Eric, just talking about this. I'll be your like hype man. It's like, go Team Eric. Go Team Eric.
Oh my God, this is so great what you're doing to help Eric. This is phenomenal. I think a lot of actors, theatrics are really so fond of this charity, and I think it's a fabulous thing you're doing. And also, I hear Lance has a clip that he's going to be sharing of a final episode. Maybe.
Just a little.
Final episode of what?
I'm going to grab a cookie and check it out.
Okay. We'll see you around, Andrea.
Yeah.
So she's talking about the final episode of Will and Grace, the reboot, of course. There's like, we can talk about Broadway all we want, but everyone loves that show, and they love what you guys did. I mean, not only it was groundbreaking in many ways. I mean, it's like there you were, not only a gay character, but a gay character who actually was looking for love. I called you the Mary Tyler Moore. It was like, you watch the arc of all the loves. It's like she went through the same thing. It's like you two were like, Will Truman and Mary Tyler Moore were very similar.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, I would love to have done a shot where I throw my hat up in the air and then I kind of duck when it comes down. That would have been a nice Will moment.
Okay, so are you listening Saturday Night Live when Eric comes on to host? We got to do that. I mean, that would be so much fun. So what I was saying is that I had told Andrea that I'm going to show just a little because I know a lot of people, would love to see that final moment again. It's such a classic moment. But I wanted, you're on the show. I need to know, where were you when you got the call to be on Broadway the first time?
Well, so this would have been I guess during the third season of Will and Grace. So we're talking about 2000.
Okay.
It would have been the fall of 2000. Excuse me. And the call I got was, did I want to take over the Cat in the Hat in the brand new Seussical music?
Wow.
And I mean, for all the theater I'd done, I just hadn't seen that coming, that sort of TV, so come and be on Broadway thing. Blown away. And they said, well, in a few weeks, if you can come over, I guess it was probably over Christmas or New Year's, come and see the show and see if it's something you'd like to do. In the meantime, I read in Variety or something that after a successful year, Craig Bierko was leaving the Music Man, which I had done at the Banff Center of Fine Arts, like when I was playing the cop when I was 18. And I phoned them and I said, "Can I also see the Music Man while I'm there?" And they said, "Yeah, okay." I think it was the same producers. I think it was both the Dodgers. I think. But so went with my wife, saw Seussical, lovely. Didn't really see myself taking over that part, but then we went to see Music Man, and Janet and I went out afterwards, and I said, I'm gonna do that show. They didn't ask me yet. So I said, and they said, well, Stroman would have to see an audition. So I said, sure. So I came back about 2 months later, maybe less, and did Trouble and did a scene with darling Rebecca Luker.
Oh.
And got the part. And so I finished Will and Grace, and whatever it was, April 6th, had 2 weeks to rehearse with one actress, my dear friend Cynthia Leheim, and playing all the other parts.
Yeah.
And my first performance on Broadway was a Tuesday night. I barely met the cast. I had never done a full run through, really. And bang, there you go. It was kind of a musical theater fantasy camp.
Wow.
Incredible.
And well, you were fantastic in it. And I mean, we'll see right here. We've seen you in the 76 Trombones, but here you are in one of my favorite songs from the Music Man, The Sadder But Wiser.
Oh, wow.
Sunday school. No wide-eyed, eager, wholesome, innocent Sunday school teacher for me. That kind of girl screams, "That's no spider." Listen, pal. A girl that trades and all that purity really wants to trade my independence for her security. The only affirmative she will find refers to marching down the aisle in golden, glorious, gleaming, pristine guns. No, sir, for no Diana, why play on? I can tell you that right now. I smoke, I kiss, I be compared to bliss. I smoke, I fizz, oh, lady knows what time it is. I cheat, I rave, for the virtue I'm too late to say. The sadder but wiser girl for me. Child crying nuts, no sailor ever knew. I prefer to take a chance on a more adult romance. No dewy young miss who keeps resisting. All the time she keeps insisting. No wine-eyed, wholesome, innocent free man. No, sir, why she's a fisherman, I'm the fish you see. Love, I flinch, I shy, bring glasses, now the candle by I smile. I read, when a gal was just sitting was it I hope.
A little taste for all of you who didn't get a chance to see Eric in his Broadway debut when Broadway called. So wait, but did you tell, like, how did you feel when they actually said, yes, you're going to do Broadway, back to the theater again?
I flew in, I did the audition for Susan, and they kind of said, we'll let you know maybe tomorrow, but I got back to the hotel and they'd called. So
wow,
at the hotel before even flying back to Los Angeles, and it was fantastic, and so just so exciting, and it was an amazing company. In fact, we did, about 6 months ago, within the COVID, that we did a Zoom where it was a reunion of 50 people. And of
Wow.
course, a lot of them were 12 years old at the time.
Mhm.
That show was so good because it really had a lot of children in it, which you really need to do to make the whole 76 trombones
Mhm.
thing work. And by the time I arrived, they were such a family.
Mhm.
And now like so some of those kids are in their 30s. It's just
Yeah, I know. It's
crazy.
crazy. And
So-
you got to work with the amazing Rebecca Luker.
yeah. Yeah.
And oh, there you guys were till there was you. Um,
A true love.
sadly, we lost her. But we have her music, and it's so phenomenal. Again, if you haven't gotten to hear Rebecca Luker, listen to the Secret Garden soundtrack or cast album. I can't believe I said soundtrack. I mean, a cast album, and it's really glorious. And our prayers go out to Danny Burstein, her husband, and their family. And I always think about her. She's when I saw the show, I didn't know you yet, but I saw the show and I actually went backstage. I didn't know Rebecca, but I sort of knew Danny. I think they had just gotten married or they were dating then. And I was playing Danny's part in I Love You, You're Perfect. I became smitten with Rebecca's voice that I went backstage. Hi, I know your husband. And I just wanted to say that you were phenomenal. That voice just.
Yeah, it was one of those sopranos that it was very effortless. It appeared effortless to her. It was amazing to. And I saw just the other day somebody had posted her doing not Good Night My Someone, but the My White Knight.
My White Knight, yes.
You know, that's the first break I really have in the whole show is flopping down my dressing room. So I heard it every night, just sort of catching my breath and listening to her do that song. Incredible.
Well, I mean, you've been very lucky with leading ladies because we had Kristen Chenoweth and who just filled the Hollywood Bowl. I mean, she's 4'0" with this huge voice, and you've had two great leading ladies. Which
that was an amazing thing. So that was 2001.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the show on Broadway for 4 months, and then I had to go back to Will and Grace. But then the following summer was 2002. That's where you and I met, and that was doing it again, but this time for 17,000.
Yeah,
one night only with Kristen and like a completely ambitious production. It was full on,
right?
Everything for one night only.
Mm-hmm.
But what I remember so well about that was just was so exciting to jump back into that role for one more. Like there's most roles, you want one more shot. Ooh.
Yeah.
But what was incredible, and I didn't anticipate this at all, it was so much easier to sing and breathe that show outdoors.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Moisture in there, I don't know what it is. You're not fighting air conditioning like you do in the theater. But suddenly songs that, had been a real like, oh, here we go, were so much easier. So that Broadway should just be outside.
It should be outside. I've been saying like, we have these COVID things and we can't really go inside the theaters right now. There are a couple of theaters that do have the new ventilation system, but I keep saying, let's do Broadway on the Hudson, do it like Old Jones Beach, put up some stages. People, can bring their little sitting mats or, they can whatever, just we can do it outdoors. I can see Phantom right now, just Christine running around Central Park, like why not? Because it would be great.
I think it was fantastic. And the other thing that you brought up, I didn't remember that Winthrop was a little kid named Ben. From the Hollywood, but like I was one night only. We only had 10
was Winthrop, yeah.
And I went backstage at Dear Evan Hansen. This is before the Will and Grace reboot because Ben was on the show. Ben played my boyfriend and on the show. So there it is right there. But I went backstage to see him, and my intention was to say, "It's so great to meet you. You were mind blowing." And before the words could come out of my mouth, he went, "God, how long has it been?" And I went, yeah. And I'm thinking, how long is it? Ben, how old are you? What could and then the math happened, and I went, holy, that kid.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
he's
and that was his first
Yeah.
professional gig.
Yeah.
Was with you, and then the following year, he also, because I did another Hollywood Bowl the following year, Camelot. He was also in that as
Right.
well,
Right.
and now I just hope he does well in the
I hope
business.
so too. I don't know. He absolutely blew my brains out with that show. I was
From the first moment, the first song
Oh.
in Dear Evan Hansen, I was like, what? I mean, the character starts at 100.
Yeah. And so much of it is him. It's a Music Man kind of part, because it's almost entirely him most of the time.
Yeah.
Singing and singing through tears.
Yeah.
Through snot.
Right. It was amazing. I didn't think that I would relate to it, because I'm like, oh, this is something about like young kids in high school. I lost it. I just thought it was so relatable, and we've all been there. And it's a fantastic show, and I can't wait to see the movie. And I'm also interested in, we were talking about great leading ladies. You just got to do something with another great Tony Award winning leading lady, and with Mary Louise Parker.
Right.
What was that all about?
That was great. So that's coming up. People can see that. I think it's April 29th. And this is a Zoom play reading of a Paula Vogel play called Baltimore Waltz from just about 30 years ago. I think it was 92. A play that she wrote for and about her brother who died of AIDS shortly before. And so it's great to revive it. Paula herself hadn't seen a production of it in 25 years. So it was emotional to have her involved, and Mary Louise is she's incredible. I actually met Mary Louise. We met each other in 1985 when I was at Stratford. She was a friend of a friend of one of the actors. And we met one day. I think it was Labor Day weekend, and years later, I was rehearsing Music Man, and I went to see Proof, and I'm watching her going, holy shit, that's the girl I met that day, which had to be 15 years old. Crazy. So we've met 3 times over I don't know, 37 years, and the third one was on Zoom. So
I'm looking forward to that, because you'll also be raising money for the Actors Fund, which is, and I know you're very involved with the Canadian version as well. Of the Actors Fund. I've seen a couple of comments. I know James Edward, who's a Chicago actor, and I think it's his birthday this weekend, which I bring it up because it's also your birthday very, very soon, mister.
Next weekend, that's right.
Yes. So James said something about it's a Music Man anniversary, but for Eric, then this is a wonderful episode of Broadway's Calling. Thank you, James, and happy birthday to you and to our guest Eric here, who is here as part of the Red Bucket Challenge, people. And I hope that you've been donating. And like I said, if you need playbill binders, Broadway's Calling is donating them. You just have to make sure that you use our Venmo or our PayPal so we can make sure that you paid, and we'll get your address if you send it to us to a private email, info@broadwayscallingtv.com, and we'll get your address, and we'll send this out this week. And really, I'm just like, it's imperative that you send in your $1, your $2 to directly, if you're sending in cash, to Broadway Cares. And that is the BroadwayCares.org/Eric, because we're on Team Eric. If you're watching this show, we are Team Eric. Now, don't tell Jason Alexander. He was my boss for when we did Once on This Island, but I've known Eric a lot longer. So I'm on Team Eric. And if y'all are watching, y'all are on Team Eric. So you want to make sure you send it to BroadwayCares.org/Team Eric. And Gilead Sciences is doubling the money. So if you send $1, it's worth $2. So if you send $1,000, it's worth $2,000. So that's what we expect. Eric, someone put in the comments about, they said they're waiting to see Will and Grace, the musical. Can you see that?
I can see that, and I think it's going to have to be a younger person's game. I don't know, but we were always tempted. We talked about it because we all sing. I think Megan's actually doing Anything Goes.
Yeah, London
this summer, which is incredible and a great part for her. But so we used to think, is there a musical episode? How do we do it? There's moments throughout the series where all of us got a chance to sing something.
Yes.
Comedic or otherwise. But never a whole episode. That would be fun.
Well, if it ever comes about, that one week that I got to do your show, Will and Grace, I discovered something new about you. And this is how I noticed how generous you were as an actor, but also just I felt like you have a director's mind as well. And I know you've produced you produced a TV series, a big one, but I mean, it's like, so if there is a Will and Grace musical and you don't think that you could be Will anymore, I hope that you consider directing it, because your mind.
Interesting suggestion. Let's get the guys from Dear Evan Hansen to write the Will and Grace musical.
I bet you they would. Oh my God. Was that Pasek and Paul or Pasek and Paul? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they're very talented, and that would be amazing. And I hear a lot of people like your idea. I'm seeing Barbara Wilmot said outdoor Broadway, great idea. Yes, we can do it. We can do it, you guys. Start like texting people and telling them we can do this. You know, we got Eric here, and I just want to know, I hope that, because we're here to raise some money. Of course, we're going to talk about the Broadway and Will and Grace, but I'm going to make sure we push people to send some cash to Broadway Cares. And this is why, and I don't even know if you realize this, Eric, but at this time of the year, last year, people were donating, and like the Actors Fund they jumped from giving $2 million a year to people in need to like almost $20 million a year. But a lot of people were donating last year because it was the beginning of the pandemic. Well, now we're like all pandemic burnt out. And there's still needs of people around the country. So this is why our little dollars help. Just, you think like, oh, I don't have $20. $1 truly does help. You would be amazed. I mean, it's like a couple of hundred people are watching here. That's a couple of $100 or more. And, you know, and this show is going to play all week long. So share it and tell your friends. Tell them there's like, oh, Eric McCormack is over there. He's telling great stories. And I didn't even know about the Susical. That's like scoop.
Fun.
Scoop, you know, there's like scoops here. So tell your friends, watch the episode, and then maybe, like, you know, donate $1 or $2 over to Broadway Cares. This is very, very important. And it's something small that we all can do. We can all chip in. And I always say, it's like, oh, I can't read that, Rhonda Kramer. I want to read this.
She was donated yesterday when Lance posted, "Thank you for all your hard work for a great cause."
Thank you, Rhonda. All right, we're on our way, Team Eric. We're on our way.
Before we move away from the red bucket, we've been having a little fun this week. The six of us. I know Jason quite well. I don't know the others well, but we've been using, of course, it's social media, right? I mean, that's, talk about Dear Evan Hansen. That's
right.
What it's about. We can use it for evil, or we can use it for good. And you know, I was looking at the number of followers I have. And I thought, if everybody that follows me gave $1, that would be incredible. So, so what you're saying about it could be $1, it could be $5. It really is true. It's not just lip service. Every little bit helps. And tomorrow, I want to announce this before I forget it. Tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern, Jason Alexander, my arch rival, and I are going to be doing an Instagram live conversation, probably 5, 6, 7 minutes, but right at noon, live. And so if you've been following the whole red bucket thing, join us for that.
And so if because I'm going to be watching at noon tomorrow, so I already follow you on Instagram, but what is your Instagram handle?
I should know this.
I know it has like an underscore, like Eric underscore McCormack, and then Julie will probably find it and tell us.
My Twitter is at Eric McCormack, and in my Insta I think is too, but
and it has a blue verification next to it, so that you know it's really Eric.
At Eric McCormack, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's a line between Eric and I don't know.
Oh, we found it. Julie found it, and she put it up on the screen.
There it is.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, awesome. So thank you, Julie. Fantastic. So you guys, tomorrow, and there it is on the bottom of the screen, the Insta Live with Eric and Jason Alexander. Just, it's going to be the battle. It's going to be like Spartacus tomorrow.
Here's a little more theater trivia. You might not know this one. I've done, in my lifetime, I've done the Fantastics 4 times. Once in high school, once in college. I did it at Stratford for a special one night only about 2 years ago. But the biggest production I ever did of the Fantastics was about 10 or 11 years ago here in Los Angeles for Reprise, directed by Jason Alexander.
Wow.
So, wow. It's such a strange, I always love those stories. The degrees.
And Reprise was fantastic. I mean, that's where I got to do when I worked with Jason with Once on This Island and Billy Porter. Leslie Odom. It was like a great cast. Lettucey. It was like, he assembled a phenomenal cast. It was great. That was another one of those things where they do these phenomenal productions in like a short amount of time.
Yeah, it was, and I loved it too. It was the first. It was the 500-seat theater there at UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Where you did yours?
Yeah, the Freud. Yes.
Yeah, the Freud. And Fantastics doesn't generally meant to function in front of a 500 seat. But Jason directed a bigger version, and I loved it. I thought it was a really good one.
Well, I would love to see that. I mean, it's time for it to come back. Maybe this time it'll come to Broadway in that version. Were you El Gallo?
I was El Gallo in that, yes.
Ooh, oh yeah. Come on and do that, because we've seen other sides of Eric McCormack. We know there's that dark side. That's that Shakespearean training coming in. It's either El Gallo or you're going to have to come back and do Hamlet on Broadway.
I don't know that we could get 11 people to see my Hamlet, but but we'll find something suitable.
Not 11 people. Well, we at least need 11 people to send in at least $11. That would be fantastic.
That would be fantastic. And if we get more, because you got what? How many? You got 50 of those books or 20 of those books? What do you got?
I have 20 of these. I mean, it's like, and they're already boxed, ready to go. I just have to go to the post office and drop them off. So I'm looking forward to hoping that there are some, when we check the Venmo and the PayPal after the show, I hope there's some in there. And if you have paid the money, make sure that you also send us an email with your address, because we've had some great donations in the past. And I've had the pins and the things like, of course, the little Broadway calling pin to send out, but then I don't get the addresses of people. So they're still sitting here. So please do that. Now, Andrea did give us a little spoiler alert and did say that I am going to show a little of the final episode of Will and Grace at the end of the program. But before we go, I just wanted to thank you, Eric, for coming here and sharing your stories and your wit. And like I said, your generosity is phenomenal. And is there anything you want to say to your fans, because people can chat back and forth, they can even ask questions? What would you like to say?
Well, I do love questions, so that there's that. I've been incredibly lucky, and I'm incredibly lucky that the show that kind of made my name has I think it's aged well. I think it's we're all very proud and very humbled by the other effects it had. We were just trying to be funny, and the fact that it was more than that is a real privilege. The fans that come up to me are always just incredibly lovely and respectful, and I would love everybody. If you ever loved Will and Grace or Travelers, and I can do stage again, I love when people get to come and see theater. It's the best. So my hope to everybody listening is that I'm back in New York at some point in the not too distant future doing something fun.
I hope so too. I hope so too. And I just want to say to people out there, it's like Eric was talking about Will and Grace and the sort of the impact that it had, and it really did have a fantastic impact, not only for the LGBTQ community, but just about friends. Ultimately, it was about friends and how people like just sort of take care of each other. And that's where I thought the history was made, just to really show, we have shows about friends, but these were friends that you think, well, there's no way that they're going to be together, but yet they stayed together. And I thought it was constantly beautiful. And I got to be a small part of the history on, it was a Gay Mafia episode, it was called.
Oh, it was the Elton John one.
Yeah, it was Elton John and Cher was on it. And I got to be a waiter and deliver fish to Jack. And so he thought because it was Trout Almondine, it was the Gay Mafia, it was a sign that he was going to be swimming with the fishes. It was so fantastic. My mother even says, thanks, Eric, I watch Will and Grace every night, which she does. Yeah. Hey, Mom. That's fantastic. But if anyone has a question, I'm going to put, before we go, and show our final thing. Is there a stage role that's on your bucket list that you have yet to play?
There are a few, and I've had to, as one gets a little longer in the tooth, one has to start scratching them off. I always wanted to play Shay in Evita, and I never got a chance to. The one thing I'm determined before I croak is to bring my Frankenfurter to the world. Which I did once for VH1. This is going back almost 30 years.
Okay.
It couldn't be 30, 25. And I loved it. And that's available. You can find that on the internet somewhere too.
Okay. Because someone texted me about that on one of our posts. I did all these crazy fun ads with you. I don't know if you've seen them, but
I haven't seen ads. No, I'm glad though.
Yeah, I did some fun ones. I'll send them to you because they're quite fun. But someone was saying, oh, but you should see his Frankenfurter. And I'm like, what? I don't know about this. And so that's where it was. It was VH1. Well, we'll definitely look for that. And I can see you bringing that to Broadway soon, maybe like a 10-week, fall presentation or something.
Maybe Lincoln Center or something. I don't know. Bring it somebody think of something quick.
I'm telling you, a lot of Broadway producers watch this show. Did you hear? Eric McCormack says he wants to do Frankenfurter. Call a brother up.
Still got legs. I still got legs.
So you're in short. So you're in a nice warm climate. I saw someone write about that. Yes, he is. Here's another question from Eleanor Albano. What did they change the rape song to in the Fantastics? I can't remember.
Oh, that's a good question because yes, there's several things that kind of have to change, but do it now. The song that once had the words rape in it, now that word is gone entirely, and it's pay. The opening word that he sings is pay, and all because the song is really called "It Depends on What You Pay." So I think the lyrics to the song now are better. I think there was never any need for that necessarily, and also I think it's interesting to see what productions change the second act. There's the two actors that come out of the punk, and the second one, Mortimer, I think it's Mortimer, plays a Native American to great comic silliness, and I think we're starting to change that now too. I don't think that sustains anymore. So it's a play that definitely needs some scrubbing up for 2021, but I still just incredible music.
Well, it is a lovely, lovely show. I do want to say that this is just in that Team Eric just passed $37,000. So you guys, if you're donating, thank you so much. This is great. This is fantastic because that $37,000 will go $74,000 with the match. So thank you so much. A shout out from Jeff Saver, musical director over from Chicago, sending much love to you and enjoys you on the boards as well as television. Thank you, Jeff. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. He's like one of the best musical directors on Broadway. I'm just checking to see, make sure that I have it. Okay, is it true that Madonna kept forgetting both you and Deborah's names on set?
It is absolutely.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Madonna was she was a piece of work. She almost always wore sunglasses. And she came in the first 2 mornings. She'd come in, and I would say, "Good morning, Madonna," and she'd say, "I'm sorry. What is your name again?" And I said, "It's Eric." And then the second day, same thing. She said, "I'm so sorry for your name again." And I finally said, "Madonna, my name is so easy to remember. It's the one that you see at the beginning of every single episode of this show."
Wow.
Okay. So we shot the show on a Tuesday, and the next day, I received a box of roses. It was 50 rose heads in this huge crate, and with a card that said, "If my husband would let me, I'd tattoo your name on my arm."
Oh.
So she made up for it, but it was
But
I don't.
She said tattoo your name, but did she know what that was?
No, she said, and what is it again?
What is it again?
That would have been very good.
Yes. And if you could just tell me what it was, I'm sure. Well, she was very, very funny on your show. There was so many great guest stars on there. And I have a question. Before I ask my question, because I hear a comment, so I want to. Oh, okay. Well, I'll take a question from you guys. Tell us about working with Leslie Jordan.
Oh, well, he's exactly what you see. He is full of life. He is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That energy never flags. It's not put on. We always loved having him on, and I'm trying to remember the first episode. I think the very first episode he ever appeared on. He and Karen were playing pool to see who's going to win Rosario or something.
Oh, yeah. With that big hat. I mean, so funny. Well, Amy Goodman says, "This made my Sunday. Always been a fan of Will and Grace, but now my 15 and 13-year-old daughters watch with me. Do you know the show has brought a social conscience to a new generation? Love and acceptance."
That's awesome.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for watching. And that's lovely, to have the kids watch that. It's 20 years of television. It's really fantastic. And something like that really is multi-generational, where it's like, my mother is watching it. These teenagers are watching it. People in the middle are watching it. You really, really have really touched a lot of people. And once again, the generosity is just overwhelming. So I hope all of you watch Eric and Jason maybe talk more about Madonna tomorrow at noon on Eric's Instagram Live. And I thank you all for watching. It's really fantastic. If you really need to say, we had so many things to look at, so many emails, so many hashtags, so many things to sort of check out, just know that this show plays continually right after we go off the air. It ends up on youtube.com/Broadway's Calling. And then you can, slowly go through the show and write down all of the information that you need. But thanks again. We couldn't do this without all of you viewers out there. And I know Eric feels the same. And we got to find more than 11 people to see Eric's Hamlet. I would be the 12th, and I'll be in the audience saying, "Yeah, that's my boy Eric right there. That's the music man. Did you see Will as the Hill?" oh my goodness. This is a picture. I'd forgotten about this picture. Thanks, Julie. Eric, I don't know if you remember, and I'll share this with everyone before we leave. On our tech rehearsal, it was 5,000 degrees at the Hollywood Bowl. And Mr. McCormack was so sweet. He ordered an ice cream man and his ice cream truck, free ice cream for the entire company. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful gesture. I've been wanting to recreate that ever since that happened, because as my friends know, I'm addicted to ice cream, and I would love to do that for someone. The one time I tried to do it, it was like, no, we don't do that here in New York. I'm going to find a place, because that was just the best thing. And we were just so ecstatic. The looks on our faces here. I was like holding my ice cream sandwich, and then we had to go do the show, but it was absolutely a great gesture. And I don't know if you remember that you did that.
I do remember it. I forgot that it was so impossibly hot that day.
Oh my goodness.
The timing was great, but
it was so hot. Well, anyway, like I said, we had the spoiler alert. It's out. We're going to show this. But I say to everyone out there, keep sane, keep a little Broadway in your life, and a little Will and Grace, since they're all Broadway vets.
Thanks,
I think we have a great picture of the four of you, which is fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lance Roberts. This is my guest, Eric McCormack.
Lance, that was so much fun, man. Thanks for all those clips. That was just like
absolutely.
Wow. Well, like my funeral was something.
No, this is a celebration. This is not a funeral. This is the beginning. You're just getting started, you know? So, well, thank you, everybody, and peace to you, and wear those masks.